Hi, so welcome back. This is part two where we look at the week ahead. And of course, again, this is just to try and help you prepare. So hopefully you don't miss anything, and hopefully we haven't missed anything either. So when we look at the key data this week, there's potential for a few central bank speakers, but most of them are probably having a holiday at the moment because they've got a break until September. And just a reminder, with August here now, that many traders will take some time out to spend, so they get that quality time with their family. Now that can produce lower volumes, which generally equals higher volatility. So, just be aware of that. Sometimes you need to reduce your size so you can have wider stops, but without increasing the potential loss. And this week we're going to get some great data because we've got the inflation data coming out. So in the US we've got the CPI and PPI coming out. So that's going to give us more insight into how the economy is doing, how inflation's doing for sure. And also we've got consumer credit coming out. Now with consumer credit, it's going to give some insight into how our households are sort of having, or are they having to use their credit cards or take out loans just to get by month by month. So always worth looking at some of this data, even though it may not impact the markets. It does give you that broader view of where the economies are heading. And we've got jobless claims. Now, I always tend to focus more on the initial jobless claims rather than just the general jobless claims. Michigan consumer sentiment's out. And what you've got to remember, we account for 60–70% of an economy. So, it's important. If we've got the confidence, then, we're going to spend more. If we haven't got that confidence in our earning ability, we spend less. Or we should spend less, let's say. Also, we've got the WASDE coming out. If you're trading commodities, you'll know what that is. Maybe you're thinking about trading commodities. So it's the World Agricultural Supply Demand Estimates. And, included in that this time will be interesting to see if they highlight the risks of what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. But I'll cover that more in the macro outlook. Again, data-wise in the UK, we've got GDP, some housing data. Whether we're going to see any improvement in that, I'm not sure. I think people are getting more used to sort of interest rates, but it's affordability, isn't it? Can people pay double what they were paying 2–3 years ago for their mortgages? Retail sales is also out, so we can see how the high streets are doing. Industrial production and manufacturing, so we get a little bit more insight into how the overall economy is doing there. For the EU, there's a shortage of data. There's not much out at all. I mean, all I could find was investor confidence, really. In Germany, we've got industrial production and CPI. So again, Germany's been suffering. They're obviously the biggest economy in Europe, so it'll be interesting to see if they're starting to turn things around and if they're gaining more control over inflation. In China, we're going to see inflation data as well with PPI and CPI, but also they've got their trade balance out, and that will help us to see whether they're importing or exporting more, because that data's been pretty poor so far, especially since they got all released from lockdowns. And in Japan, we've got PPI coming out. So that's what we've got to look forward to this week. Should be an interesting week. As I say, just be aware and just be careful because markets will be that little bit thinner as more traders take time out. I'm not going to go through it because I do it in 1 and 4. So in part 2, it's there. Look through it, and please go to some of these links and look to see what we do, the services that we provide, because they're great. And they can help you even if you don't think you need help. There's always something there for somebody and everybody. You know, I get people come to me that are novices. I get people that have come to me that have got 20, 30 years in the market. So I'm not saying I can help everybody, and I've got all the answers, but everyone seems to go away happy, and that's the most important thing.